Okay, let's get started. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Louis Gonzalez, and I serve as campus president at Ivy Tech Community College, East Chicago campus. And I want to thank all of you for being here today, taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. We promise we won't take long, but let me share with you what we'll cover in the next half hour, 45 minutes. We're here to have some speakers address all of you with this announcement. So we will begin with Mayor Copeland, City of East Chicago, to share with all of you about this big day. Afterwards, we will have then Chancellor Thomas Coley of Ivy Tech Community College also address the process, the MOU that's been signed between the City of East Chicago and Ivy Tech Community College. And it's my understanding we also will have campus tours afterwards. But right after these gentlemen speak, we will have about 15 minutes. We'll open it up for questions, not only from the media, but also from the leadership that's here in the room today. And we'll be as open and candid as possible. But also would like to introduce here, before I bring up our two speakers, to my left would be to your right, our new superintendent, Dr. Joe, of the Chicago Public Schools. Welcome, Dr. Joe. So with that, let me introduce Mayor Copeland. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Luis. Let me start by thanking each and every one of you for coming today. I see we got a slew of elected officials here. They say when you start trying to pick and choose, you get in trouble. So any and all elected officials, please stand, please, so we can acknowledge you. And we have them all the way from the state to local to county here. So we are truly blessed. We have a multitude of guests. In the front row here, we have representatives from the Foundation of East Chicago. Will you please stand? And we also have the rock upon what we will build upon for this new endeavor. The school board members, will you please stand? But then there's also a special type of thanks. Let me give special thanks to President Luis Gonzalez, to Chancellor Thomas Coley, to Maria Becerra, to Wina Guzman, to Milton Reed, and to my A-team, all of my department heads, to Mrs. Rashada Moore, and to Mrs. Linda Randolph. And a special heartfelt thank you to Mr. Emmett Mosley, to Mr. Frank Rivera, and to Mrs. Constant Elamine. I thank all of you for your patience and your attention to detail. I am honored to be flanked by Dr. Joe and Counselor Coley. 3 years ago, the RDA came and visited me at my office, and they told me about a funding process. They told me about this big ask that with careful planning and a master plan that the city was entitled to millions and millions of dollars. At the time, I could not fully grasp this big ask because I was wrestling with a $15 million budget deficit. It took me 6 months to lay out a course of action, and then and only then was I able to start concentrating on the master development plan. A year and a half later, with the help of SEH, I submitted a plan with a price tag of $38 million. These dollars with good leverage of state, federal, local, and private investment was projected to bring in a total investment of $380 million. One day, I looked at an aerial photo of the area of concern. This was the area of the lakefront and the North Harbor. This was the moment that I said to myself, I found that everything should flow from this point, this very point where we're at now, Eugene Field School. Then I began talking to Ivy Tech, and now 2 years later, I pinch myself because I cannot believe that we're actually at the moment that we can begin this journey. Then I shared with Ivy Tech that I had been sitting down talking to ArcelorMittal, BP, Prox Air, Ameristar, Safety Clean, and St. Catherine about job creation, and they all agreed that within a 5-year window, a turnover of their workforce will leave a void of 5,000 jobs. And with their help, Ivy Tech could create programs coupled with an associate degree that will allow all these jobs to be filled. Jobs with pay ranges from $40,000 to $80,000. The city is prepared to assist Ivy Tech with every resource that we have. Let this be the time, let this be the place that reveals our finest hour, showcasing that we are truly a city of hope and progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. At this time, we will bring up our Chancellor, Chancellor Thomas Coley. Chancellor.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Copeland. Your commitment and initiative to revitalize the East Chicago community is admirable, and clearly from your comments this morning, your enthusiasm will help provide some baseline momentum that we need to move forward with developing our working relationship. I would like to also thank the elected officials for coming, and foundation board members and members of the school board, as well as other guests. I will say that as I look out in the audience, I can see one of our more immediate challenge and opportunities will be sitting in this room and getting up and down these chairs that we have seated here. Obviously, for someone of my size, it's going to be a considerable venture. But thank you all for being here. Ivy Tech has a long history of bringing and maintaining post-secondary education to the state of Indiana. As you may know, we first opened in 1963 across the state as Indiana Vocational Technical College. And 51 years later, as Ivy Tech Community College, we have become the state's largest public post-secondary educational institution and the nation's largest singly accredited statewide community college system. We serve nearly 200,000 students across the state. And here in East Chicago, at the Foundation of East Chicago De La Garza campus, we serve over 1,000 students. And potentially with this site, we obviously will look for opportunities to expand on that enrollment. With campuses throughout the state, Ivy Tech is Indiana's engine of workforce development, offering value-driven and affordable degree programs and training aligned with the needs of Indiana's unique individual communities, as well as courses and programs that transfer to other colleges and universities in Indiana. And I'd like to acknowledge my colleague here, Dr. Dan Laurie, who part of, one of the things I will say, and you may know that I started as chancellor in the Northwest region about 18 months ago, and one of the strengths of being in the Northwest is that all of the college presidents and chancellors have a very strong working relationship, and I think that carries over in looking at programs that we hope to do here with Calumet and other higher educational institutions. So examples of programs at our East Chicago campus includes welding, automotive, technology, and culinary arts, and dual academic on-the-job training, such as the Steelworkers of the Future program, a partnership with ArcelorMittal to provide educated and skilled technicians to the steel industry. And that program has taken off tremendously. We started out with low number of 2 years ago of maybe 20, 30, and we're near 300 students who are in this program. So you can see the opportunities in this area for us to grow, and as the mayor mentioned, the ability to work with industry to grow jobs through targeted training. So Ivy Tech works with area businesses to identify and offer degrees that develop high-demand skill sets for the area's workforce. The Process Operations Associate degree, which was originally formed to provide a workforce with BP, is another example of the program development. So the programs are so successful that some of our graduates have entered into careers at Praxair. These examples and numerous others spotlight the role of Ivy Tech plays in the community. So why are we here? Why is Ivy Tech involved in this venture? We want to work together with the City of East Chicago to strategically review the opportunities available to support expanding our programs that meet the educational and workforce needs in this area. Ivy Tech views the partnership that we're developing with East Chicago, with the East Chicago campus, to a second location here at the Field School as a promising opportunity. Our campus along Columbus Drive is landlocked, making it extremely difficult to add on to the facility. And if this proposal becomes reality that we hope, the East Chicago campus will be one campus, two locations. We are committed to making this expansion work through a feasibility study, which will determine the viability of the second location, as well as the types of programs that we should offer that meets and responds to the demands in the community. We want you to know that it is a process as we look at this expansion. We encourage you to participate, those in the community, to help us do our due diligence through this study. And we know that in working in close relationship with the mayor's office, we will get the kind of results to make the best decision possible, particularly the array of programs that we can provide in this facility. So I'm very pleased to be here with you today, be on the stage with the mayor, and look forward to have further conversations as we develop these opportunities. So thank you very much.
I know I mentioned earlier that the agenda that we would move on to questions, but before we do that, I would be remiss if I didn't have our new superintendent, Dr. Joe, not say a few words. Dr. Joe, would you like to say a few words, please?
Good afternoon, good morning. First of all, I want to tell everyone how pleased I am to be your superintendent. It's been challenging and rewarding 6 weeks on the job. And when you're new, a lot of people tell you a lot of story. But one thing that I want to say to all those stories about this building, I am so happy to see that this building is serving our population. It doesn't matter who owns it. It doesn't matter what it was before. It's serving our population, and that's what matters. That's a public meeting. And secondly, the first time I was appointed, the news person lady asked me, do you know your $1 million problem with the mayor? I said, excuse me? $1 million? Nobody told me that, otherwise I wouldn't accept the job. But as soon as I came on board, I made an appointment with mayor, and the first meeting, we talked, we shook hands. At the end of next 2 or 3 meetings, we're going to solve our problem. And I'm very proud and happy to tell you, with mayor's help, we have a resolution to our $1 million problem, and our Board of Education is going to approve it tomorrow, we hope. We're recommending that, and whenever your board, sanitary board, would do that. But I have to say, the mayor was very generous, very cooperative, and we have created a very good relationship. It's just beginning. I always believed, I've been in education 50 years, superintendent 20, 30, 40 years, something like that, that a city cannot strive without good educational system. and good educational system cannot strive with a good city. So we are going to be partner, working not only with the city, with the library board, with the park, with the police department, fire department, and truly make this city and the school system a city of progress, hope, and a school system second to none. Help us, support us. Thank you so much.
Dr. Joe, you have a lot of energy. I don't know where you get all that. At this time, we'll open it up to questions, and I know there are some, I look throughout the room and I see folks from manufacturing industry, business, government, churches, so we're all here, and I know this is not a shy group, so we'll open up to any questions that you have for any of the individuals that we have up here on stage. Anyone?
I'll use the mic so my voice is not like Dr. Joe. The mayor can project much better than I can. We've already engaged a consultant to help us in the process, and so we're now formulating a list of individuals that we should speak with, and then we will start a process right after Labor Day of starting those interviews, and hopefully we'll conclude in October with some results from that to determine next steps. Yes. That may be a bit of a challenge. I don't want to go on record of saying that. I know the mayor would want me to say, January. I get it. I would say that it would be the following year in terms of, because once we do the study, there's some fundraising that will likely be involved for do some renovations, but to move programs or develop programs, it will take some transitional time. So I think that we're talking the following year. We may, if it looks feasible to do it midterm, to offer some programs, if that's what it looks like, then we certainly will do it. But to be prudent, I wouldn't go on record saying fall of 15. That might be too aggressive at this point in time. You guys have bought into all of this, huh? You're just, all right, that's good.
Okay, I'm going to give one more chance. Any more questions? If not, then we could move on to tours. So I believe we have two individuals that will be conducting those tours. I believe it's Maria Becerra and Milton Reed. You guys, can you raise your hand? And Maria, Milton? Okay, and what we'll be doing is we'll have tours that will take you throughout the building. And I can assure you that as you go through the building, you'll be impressed, as we were when we walked through this building. It's a beautiful facility, and to underscore what the superintendent said, we're there to serve the community. And as you go through this building, you'll see how all the many ways that we could serve this community in many, many ways. Okay. With that, I want to thank all of you, each and every one of you, for taking the time out to be here. We'll have refreshments as well, so if you want to talk to our speakers here afterwards, they'll be available. Thank you. 1 second.
I just want to say in closing that I've played poker with Louis and I played with Thomas, and they keep their cards close and they wear sunglasses. But I can tell you that every time they see me, I will be lighting the log up under this fire until it become a blaze. We're going to have Ivy Tech in here because my intentions is like Don Corleone. I'm going to make them an offer they can't refuse.
And we'll end on that note. All right, thank you.
And I know I was reminiscing with somebody about 2 years ago, I think it was, you made a speech in this
Yes.
building, correct?
Yes.
And that kind of referenced this,
Yes, it
correct?
did.
It was the State of the City?
Yes, State of the City.
Yeah.
And at the State of the City, I predicted that we would move forth to acquire the building. Then we would be in pursuit of getting Ivy Tech into the building. I'm pleased that that journey started with one step. Now we're closer to the end of that journey, and I can see it. I can see it clearer today than I have ever been able to see it, and I'm looking forward for Ivy Tech to be here because it gives us an anchor point to build off of when we do our development here in the North Harbor area.
Yeah, you know, East Chicago, like every other community, I think, struggles with vacant buildings. When a big building goes vacant, the goal is always, you know, to prevent it from sitting too long. And I think this seems to be a positive kind of victory, right?
Yes.
This hasn't been a vacant building very long.
No. I would say maybe a year and a half now. It's been vacant, but it's been under our management. So we've been holding community events in here, so it has never went dormant. We have community events here. We showcase the building every chance we get, and it's just been positive feedback from the community. Matter of fact, in another week, we're going to have a community meeting here announcing the $35 million Millennium Project over here for Lakeside Gardens, where they're going to do it over. We're going to have the community meeting right in here. So we've been utilizing it, showcasing it, and exposing the community to the building itself.
And can you talk a little bit about what it means for the community to have this site functional? You know, we know that when college students come in, they buy gas,
Yes.
they get food.
Yes.
It's a good thing for the entire community, just besides even the students, correct?
And then more than that, I think it shows that the city of East Chicago values education. We value it so much that we've put a down payment on keeping the institution of higher learning here. They are landlocked, they can't go anywhere. It is for us to give them the opportunity to find another existing spot so that they can stay within our walls. And that's what this was all about. I didn't want one day where, because of their success, they couldn't get any bigger and then they would start looking outside of the city. So we were being proactive and say we will work with you. Not only that, we have free bus transportation here, and we have lined up routes from where you can go from campus A to campus B seamlessly.
And that involves some partnership with another local organization, correct? That you mentioned before, the RDA, right?
Yes, the RDA. The RDA gave us, they gave Hammond, Gary, and other surrounding cities their ask on how they want to develop the lakefront. Well, we went for our ask, but we coupled that along with leveraging other dollars so that we can get a better bang for our buck and to assist Ivy Tech, because they're going to need help and funding. They're going to need help and doing some renovations in the building. And the city of East Chicago is committed to make it as flawless that transition for them to come in here. I set my goals for 2015 because I know that administratively they're going to see that as advantageous for them to move the administration building over here, expand where they're at, and so it's hard to tell me no.
Well, you've answered my questions. Was there anything on that? All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the tour.
Okay, thank you.
Again, if you wouldn't mind giving a few details of that feasibility study, what are they going to be looking at in that? For example, would they consider an alternate second location, or is that really just going to focus on this location?
Well, we are looking at the concept of one campus, two sites. So we'll be promoting how we get a blend of programs between this site and the Columbus Street site, and so the De La Raza campus, I should say. So the idea is that what types of programs resonate with those who potentially would help with doing renovation of the space, supporting our ability to offer different types of programs. Here, what seems to be the demand and the interest. I mean, we already have some programs in place, as I mentioned, with Osso Mill, the steel workers of the future, and with BP in terms of process technology. Do we expand upon that, or do we look at other programs? So, for example, culinary with the casinos right across the highway. That would seem to be a good start. So we test these questions and see where there's support so that we have a basis, a foundation on which to really do our due diligence of planning and be able to put a business plan together as to what it will take to operate the facility.
But the study would focus exclusively on this site then, not, for example,
Yeah.
selecting another site
Well,
somewhere in the city?
well, yeah, it's this
Okay.
site, just,
Okay.
just, you mean, are we looking at other sites in addition
Right,
to this site?
exactly,
No, it's
or
about this site.
alternatives,
No,
just here?
just here,
Okay.
yes.
And again, I know she asked a little bit about the state of this building. Is there a sense, and I know that's part of the feasibility study, but is there a sense so far of how much needs to be done to convert this to a college campus?
I don't think there's much. This is a very sound building, you know, but it was an elementary building, and so we want to turn this into a college campus. And so there are some things like furniture needs to be addressed, as we're looking at in the auditorium today. That's, you know, it's great that there is an auditorium, but some of the seating probably will need to be addressed. They have great computer lab space here, and some of the science spaces are great, but they need to be upgraded at college level. And so we will need to, those are the kind of things that we're looking at.
Right, and again, I know you mentioned in there, but you spoke a little about the fit with Ivy Tech and this region, East Chicago specifically, the heavy industry and technology
Yeah.
that's here.
Well, I think it's key for Ivy Tech, we look at how we can contribute to the economic and workforce development in the community. And having skilled workforce is key to the maintaining industry as well as attracting and growing industry. And that's our role, that's our mission in Indiana, and particularly in this community. And so this makes a lot of sense for us to look at how we can expand upon providing the opportunities for the citizens here in East Chicago.
And I know the press release also mentioned partnerships, including, for example, a bus route that would serve this
Yeah,
campus. potentially
again,
in the
that's
future.
promoting the two-site, one campus. We want to be able to make sure that there's a connection between the sites so that we can provide a full level of services, the support services that a student needs to be successful. And so by doing that and having the convenience of transportation, we believe we'll be able to have a sort of a safety net of being able to access both sites for anyone who wants to attend Ivy Tech. So,
Works for me. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I know that you had mentioned that fall 2015 may not be the time for
a
them.
little aggressive, but some may, you know, but nevertheless, we're certainly, if that's feasible, we'll look at it.
So that's what you're looking at, or?
16, but I think that we don't want to establish unrealistic expectations. We want to get programs in, have them prepared in a way that when we open the door, we're ready to deliver. First impressions are very important, and so we want to make sure we're very well organized to deliver on the programs that we want.
Okay, thank you. Okay, since you're brand new, can you just tell us a little bit about your experience so far coming in and realizing about the Ivy Tech program?
Yes, I always believe that the focal point of community are city government, schools, university, colleges. And having Ivy Tech next door to us is exciting. We haven't really met yet officially to talk about what we can do to cooperation, but today is an exciting day because I see a building that was empty for a while and those things is going to be used for public. And I'm happy to see that. It doesn't matter who owned them before and those kind of things, that story I heard. So I'm very optimistic working with the city as well as the Ivy Tech to make this a better place for all of us.
Okay, so I know that you said that you'll be partnering with the library board and other.
With anybody who is willing to help our kids, absolutely. I remove obstacles. I don't create them.
So is there any way that you're gonna implement Ivy Tech with?
Well, we have already some of our kids go to Ivy Tech to get dual credits. So we hope to expand that even further. We're going to be a very good partner, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody in the community, especially educational institutions.
It's kind of an obvious one, I think, but we hear so much, unfortunately, about the skills gap here in Indiana. And can you just talk about what a positive step this is, if it is?
This is a very positive step, but we need to follow that on elementary, middle school, and high school. So if we work together, have a continuum from preschool to 14 or 18 or whatever it might be, is going to benefit everybody. And I think the concept of everybody be able to afford Ivy Tech, and I think they may even have some scholarship and those things, is fantastic.
And to have what sounds like so many direct partnerships here, I think it's important for kids, I would think, to see that direct connection to jobs.
Exactly, and I was meeting with some other group of people. What Mayor says, there are over 5,000 job opening in next 5 years, and that would be shame if I know that Ivy Tech would have that kind of program, and it's still industry say we hire them. You go through our program, you finish, we hire you. $40,000-$50,000 job. That's exciting.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So can you just give us a little information about what you're taking from this Ivy Tech program?
Well, I see this initiative as something that's a true partnership, not only with the City of East Chicago and not only with School City of East Chicago, but with business and industry. There are many people who I deal with on a daily basis who tell me there's a skills gap, but they also know there are going to be many jobs available maybe a year to 3 years from now. And our concern is, are we going to have enough people in the pipeline to fill these positions? We have approximately 1,500 students on our campus, and that sounds like a lot of people, but not really for all the positions that are going to be available in the next few years. So we're landlocked, as the chancellor said. So we need to look for an area or a space where we can expand our footprint. So this would be the ideal location. So the whole concept of one campus, two locations would be fantastic. So that's why we're looking at this initiative with a lot of excitement.
Okay, in your opinion, what is the greater goal as far as long-term for this initiative?
That's an excellent question. My secretary asked me the very same thing right before I left. Personally, I would like to see this as our campus legacy, that we expanded our operations. When I got in this position about 7 years ago, we were at about 750 students. And here we are now nearing 2,000 students. To see this actually expand, and we can afford many other residents an opportunity for higher education, I can only imagine, what the number would be. But more importantly, to get people to think that they can achieve the American dream. And this is what I hear from many students or people here in the community, that they see people all around them thriving and succeeding, and they feel hopeless. And if we can play a part in that, to reconnect them to that dream, and they can achieve that, communities will thrive. And that's how we see this. And so that if we can help people get back in that pipeline and achieve the American dream, then we've been successful.
Sounds good. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.